Startup operating costs for quick growth can vary significantly depending on industry, business model, and location. However, several general categories of expenses should be considered. Firstly, personnel expenses, including salaries and benefits for employees in key roles such as engineers, marketers, and executives, as well as contract labor or freelance services for specialized expertise. Secondly, marketing and sales expenses encompassing advertising and promotion, sales team compensation and commissions, and customer acquisition costs. Thirdly, research and development expenses, which involve product development and innovation, along with market research and analysis. Fourthly, infrastructure expenses, including office space costs like rent and utilities, equipment costs for computers and servers, and information technology infrastructure costs for cloud services and software. Fifthly, legal and financial expenses covering legal fees for incorporation, contracts, and regulatory compliance, accounting and financial reporting costs, and insurance premiums. Sixthly, inventory and operations expenses, including raw materials, inventory, and production costs if applicable, as well as shipping and logistics expenses, again, if applicable. Finally, other expenses, such as professional services like consulting and legal assistance, travel and entertainment expenses, and miscellaneous administrative costs. Based on industry benchmarks and case studies, estimated startup operating costs for quick growth can range from $100,000 to $1 million or more in the first year. This amount may vary significantly depending on the factors previously mentioned. Several factors can affect startup costs. The competitive landscape and market demand within a specific industry can influence operating costs. Service-based businesses typically have lower overhead costs than product-based businesses. Office space and labor costs can vary significantly by location. Startups pursuing aggressive growth will likely incur higher expenses in areas such as marketing and sales. It's important to note that startup costs can be flexible and may need to be adjusted as the business grows and evolves. Careful planning and financial management are essential to ensure that the startup has sufficient funding to support its growth objectives. Consider each of these elements in detail when forecasting costs for the initial year of operation. Personnel is a major cost driver. The size and composition of the team will directly impact payroll expenses. A startup requiring highly skilled engineers or specialized marketers will face higher salary demands. Benefits packages, including health insurance, retirement plans, and paid time off, also add to the overall personnel costs. Contract labor can provide flexibility and access to specialized skills without the long-term commitment of hiring full-time employees. However, the cost of contract workers can sometimes be higher on an hourly basis compared to salaries. Marketing and sales are crucial for driving customer acquisition and revenue growth. Advertising expenses can vary widely depending on the chosen channels, such as online advertising, social media marketing, or traditional media. Sales team compensation structures, including base salaries and commissions, should be designed to incentivize performance and align with the company's sales goals. Customer acquisition costs, which represent the expenses incurred to acquire a new customer, should be carefully tracked and optimized to ensure a positive return on investment. Research and development is essential for maintaining a competitive edge and driving innovation. Product development costs can include expenses related to design, prototyping, testing, and refinement. Market research and analysis help to identify customer needs, market trends, and competitive threats. Allocating sufficient resources to research and development is crucial for long-term success. Infrastructure costs are necessary for providing a functional workspace and supporting business operations. Office space expenses can vary significantly depending on location and size. Equipment costs can include computers, servers, and other essential tools. Information technology infrastructure costs such as cloud services and software licenses are increasingly important for enabling remote work and data management. Legal and financial expenses are necessary for ensuring compliance and managing finances. Legal fees can cover incorporation, contract drafting, and regulatory compliance. Accounting and financial reporting costs are essential for tracking financial performance and preparing tax returns. Insurance premiums can protect the business from potential liabilities and risks. Inventory and operations expenses are relevant for product-based businesses. Raw materials, inventory, and production costs should be carefully managed to optimize efficiency and minimize waste. Shipping and logistics expenses can impact profitability, especially for businesses with a large volume of online sales. Other expenses can include professional services, travel and entertainment, and miscellaneous administrative costs. Professional services can provide valuable expertise in areas such as consulting, legal, and accounting. Travel and entertainment expenses may be necessary for business development and networking. Miscellaneous administrative costs can cover a wide range of expenses, such as office supplies, printing, and postage. The industry in which a startup operates can significantly impact its operating costs. Highly competitive industries may require higher marketing and sales expenses to stand out from the crowd. Industries with complex regulations may incur higher legal and compliance costs. The business model also plays a crucial role in determining operating costs. Service-based businesses typically have lower overhead costs than product-based businesses. Businesses with a high degree of automation may have lower labor costs. Location can have a significant impact on operating costs, particularly for office space and labor. Major metropolitan areas typically have higher rent and salary costs compared to smaller cities or rural areas. The growth strategy pursued by a startup can also influence its operating costs. Startups pursuing aggressive growth may need to invest heavily in marketing, sales, and personnel. Startups with a more conservative growth strategy may be able to operate with lower expenses. Careful planning and financial management are essential for ensuring that a startup has sufficient funding to support its growth objectives. Developing a detailed budget and regularly monitoring financial performance can help to identify potential problems early on. Securing adequate funding through a combination of equity financing, debt financing, and grants can provide the financial resources necessary to achieve growth goals. As the business evolves, startup costs may need to be adjusted. This may involve re-evaluating the budget, negotiating with vendors, or seeking additional funding. Being flexible and adaptable is crucial for navigating the challenges of starting and growing a business.